she's following the scheme. Because for me it was interesting how it works. Okay, so this is maybe the fourth class when they are talking about recipes, and she has produced her own recipe, but she didn't write about it, she didn't learn it by heart. The task was just to make your own recipe. Okay?
I did something.
So maybe
I cannot see the
so here.
here it is.
I want to describe fruit salad. Cook needs ingredients. Firstly, I cut fruit. Secondly, I process cook salad. Thirdly, I cook salad. Finally, I serve salad. Firstly, I peel apple, banana, orange, kiwi and watermelon with peeler, so they are peeled. Next, I dice apple, banana, orange, kiwi and watermelon with a knife, so they are cut. Next, I add yogurt in a spoon, so it is added. Next, I cook salad on fridge, so it is cooled. Finally, I serve salad cool in bowl with dessert fork. Enjoy your meal.
you can imagine, yeah, you can, so, we won't watch it again, yeah. So, but you see that she still has lots of mistakes, yeah? No articles and so on. That means that she's reading her own recipe just as she composed it at home. And she's one out of not so many who was able to get what I wanted. The rest were able to get it with some training. But Yulia, so her name is Yulia, she's perfect. Like, I mean, when I saw how she was doing it, I was greatly surprised. What she got from this? She already understands, yeah, so the succession of it. So firstly, secondly, thirdly. She understands all this finally, next, and so on, but they keep practicing it. And for me, the main thing was that she understood the instrument and the adjective. Of course, my dream was that they would be able to say, then we take peeled apples and add, and too much. Maybe next year, maybe when they talk about this recipe in a year. But what did they do here? They, first of all, developed their language awareness, the word building, yeah? And they also learned about the enhancements. They learned about the tools, how the tools are made and what those tools are making. Yeah? So what is the job that the tools make? Questions?
How to get back.
You want to get back? How to get back? Okay, now we will get back.
I don't know how to
Правая кнопка. Ага.
Там все сложно.
Okay, and now F5, да? No? Okay, go.
Окей. Нет, наоборот. Ой.
No.
Сейчас, а теперь все назад.
So we may stay here. Yeah? So that is what I wanted to revise. Yeah? So again, the verbs, we don't need this anymore. Like we don't need to focus on food because we have already focused on it. The tools and the participle too. So there are lots of topics that may be done the same way. So cooking is number one. Then house chores, obviously. I vacuum with a vacuum cleaner, so it is vacuumed. Lots of services. Yeah? So computer, we'll talk about the computer today. Many topics, not all of them. But those which contain instruments and actions with them will definitely be learned or studied this way. Questions? No. Okay, good. So, next, we may talk about enhancements. This is a part of the topic music, and tell me what it includes. It tells us about musicians, and again, most musical instruments, they are, so it's difficult to learn them, and actually no one will learn them by heart, but the fun is to trace how the instrument gives the name for a musician. The musician acts, and those instruments are enhanced by traditional and modern tools or enhancements. Again, traditional would be a reed or keys, modern amplifiers that amplify the sound. The reed vibrates and gives vibrations. So enhancements are always fun, but they are fun when you talk about them as a part of a topic and not as a separate topic itself. If you develop this functional thinking all the time, like what does a trumpetist do? A trumpetist blows the trumpet. So, and with the help of what? So he presses the keys open and close tone holes, and so on and so forth. It's quite dull, so probably it can't be taught all the time. If you teach it like through the whole course, from time to time, then they get the understanding of the verbs, the instruments, enhancements, which is not a favorite word of any kid, of course, and so many other things. But it is just a part of the whole, of the big idea. We talk about enhancements all the time. Next. Enhancements, so first, word families, second, enhancements, and third, perspective. You remember the scheme of any topic, and when talking about science, of course, it is good to add some history. So what kind of history can we add when we talk about science?
In prehistoric times.
Yeah, we can talk about prehistoric times and historic times. Again, boring, but if you just have a bit of it.
Like Industrial Revolution.
Industrial Revolution. Perfect.
How the scientists came up with this idea to invent something, maybe.
If we talk about the invention,
yes.
But in general, like we should give them the general ideas all the time. Industrial Revolution, perfect. Yeah. So then,
Why do people invent things?
maybe, but I would give those catchy moments like prehistory and history, Industrial Revolution, post-industrial time, so that they always had the same idea in their brain. Industrial Revolution, Digital Revolution, Smartphone Revolution divides people. When people are divided, some become natives, some remain immigrants. So the division means that you are natives and immigrants, and you keep talking about the same. And so many topics will have the same idea. You'll see now. Okay, so next. I would suggest to add a timeline. Timeline is always fun. But what is difficult about timelines?
It's difficult to draw it like that.
To draw it.
As it is.
You have to synchronize it with your way of teaching, because usually the timelines in Google are like so many moments. Usually it should be pretty short, concise and informative. As for the computers, which we will talk today about, so the topic computers, here, take, So the topic computers, of course you understand that computers will have a huge timeline. Yeah? But we don't need it. No one needs it if you are not a computer scientist. Yeah? What do we really need? We need one principle, which is put into this classification, which is the basis of this classification, and you work with the principle. For example, when kids are, so from early age, we teach them that there are some kinds of computers. There is a supercomputer, there is a big computer used for weather forecasting, for different kinds of forecast. Personal computer or desktop. It's always good if you see the word top, yeah? So you usually can emphasize different tops. Personal computer will be a desktop, that will be, notebook will be a laptop, tablet will be a palm top, and that's it, yeah? So, again, maybe these are not the most accurate terms, but they recycle this size. So, okay, but we're not talking about computers now, we're talking about the timeline. What is the principle that is the basis of this timeline?
Change.
So first, mechanical devices to calculate digits. Then, electromechanical devices. Then, machines using transistors. Then, machines using silicon microprocessors. And finally, machines based on DNA. What is the principle? No. The principle is here, okay, but what is the principle?
A change, come on.
It's a change, but still there is one principle.
Maybe progress?
Of course it's a progress, sure, but what is the principle? Come on. So again, mechanical, electro, transistors, silicon microprocessors, and
The main
DNA.
device in it.
Very good. So what is the basis of this? Yeah? What they work at. And if to talk about bigger picture, they will know about different stages of human development and so on, but I thought of telling you about this, but I thought that would be too much for today. Yeah, but here the principle is that when it's mechanical, probably it was before electricity was invented. After electricity was invented, Industrial Revolution. We have electromechanical calculators. So later, in the 20th century, transistors were invented and made everything smaller and portable. So computers based on transistors became smaller. Transistors turned into microprocessors, and in the future, hopefully, or some students say, maybe not, hope not. So machines will be based on DNA. Yeah, so and become part of ourselves. Funny, but only for boys. Yeah, and only for some of them. And again, it may be only funny with some repetition. Of course, you can't imagine. Sorry for stereotyping, but you can't imagine any girl just been willing to learn it by heart. Yeah? But the same timeline will be when we talk about radio development, when we talk, so many timelines will be based on the same transport development, they will be based on the same principle. What is the mechanism inside it? And that is at least how they start thinking about the bigger picture of human history. I told you already that so many kids tell we learn more at English than at school. Though I'm sure that they are given more at school. But as it is so cluttered and there is so much information, they are not able to pick out a very simple moment of it. Yeah? So usually I pick up the simplest moments, and those which have any principle. Okay, now a catchy moment. silicon microprocessors started the digital age. And you know that we may talk about different ages. Industrial age, pre-industrial age, digital age, again, smartphone age. Any kind of age is fun, very debatable, but you are not at the scientific conference. Yeah? You are just learning English. So, and it meant the digital divide. Divide is a very favorite, if I can say so, word of so many sociologists. They're constantly talking about different divides. Like as soon as I learned about digital divide, I started noticing divides everywhere. Very soon I learned about smartphone divide. I am a smartphone immigrant because I still, so I still write messages with my index finger and not with my thumb. And so many divides, there are many divides. And this is what I meant a catchy topic. It is debatable, but it is fun for the kids to learn that they are different from their parents and to compare. And there are lots of categories if we can talk about it. So, this is already science. This is already an invention. Timeline, to make the bigger picture, to give the bigger picture. So, two types of users, immigrants and natives, divide a debatable topic. So no one, because many years ago, like in 2012, I was in Oxford, and they said that it's not accurate to talk about digital divide, because those people who were considered to be digital immigrants now are quick enough to become digital natives. And I know about it, but the kids don't need to know about it. Yeah? It is funny, they can compare themselves to their grannies if they can't compare themselves to their parents. Yeah? So, and you can also add something funny here. It's Moore's law. Moore said that every 18 months the processing power of a computer will double. So that means that the processing power of a smartphone may be twice bigger than of this and so on. But this is just the information, maybe not that necessary. Okay, next. Next. So after we have talked about the divides, we can talk about the human. We can talk about the human, and it is always fun for the kids to understand who they are, how they learn, what type of person they are, if you don't talk much about it. Okay, so quick revision now before we start working with the topic computers in general. How do we develop language awareness? How? With word formation. So when we give them the idea of tools, we develop functional thinking. We give them the understanding that every tool has a function. Functional thinking is a big topic in developing creativity. We develop functional thinking. So what perspective do we add to make historical perspective? In any topic, historical perspective will be good if you don't make it too complicated. We suggest very simple history, prehistory, Middle Ages or ancient Rome, so classical period, Middle Ages, Renaissance or Renaissance as you like it, and so on. Very simple division, but all the time. This. It is good when you teach about art. It is good when you teach about music. It will be very, very good when you teach about museums and preserving heritage. So history is fun, but if you don't teach it much. So you add historical perspective, then you think of a human, you think of a human, how humans do it, what types of humans, the users. Usually I like to talk about the users. So, humans, and finally, divide. What was the divide? No, I mean, what is it? The funny topic. Yeah? So, the catchy topic. The idea that is not very scientifically proved, but is fun. Yeah? So, okay, good. Next. Pass this on. And this is the topic computers. Now you'll have all three.
Is it the same?
No, it's not the same. No. So, when kids are young enough, usually the third grade, all computers are a great topic to talk about. So, what can we teach them about computers when they are young? We can give the already known to you types of computers. Supercomputer, personal computer, laptop, tablet, and smartphone. We can talk about how affordable they are. Of course, we can use the word expensive or cheap, but usually it's good to see that they may be cheap, affordable, or expensive. Because you can't have this division like just two antonyms, cheap and expensive. I love the word affordable, because you can afford it. Okay, so the size, then size brings us to the weight and portability. The computer may be portable and non-portable if it's a desk computer, if it's a desktop. So, and the users will use computer for work or for pleasure. And the computers, those computers, they will have input devices, processor, output devices, and storage devices. Where to store? Okay, ask me a question. What questions will kids ask when they talk about their computer? First question. What type is it?
Is your computer?
Now, what type is your computer? My computer is a supercomputer. Next question.
How expensive is it?
Or, how affordable is it? They all know the word affordable. How affordable is it? Then, what size is it? Then, how portable is it? Or how heavy is it? But usually it is good to think about portability. How portable is it? So ask the question here with users.
Like what
Strange.
do people use
What
it
for? Users use it, or what users use it for. A bit strange, needs some practice, but still it's a question. And here, computer does what? Users input information, put the information in with input devices. Computer processes the information and puts the information out. Yeah? So,
and there is one more ware missing. So there is hardware, there is software, and there is wetware, because without a person, it will never work.
too much. They are here when they learn this. They are usually in the third grade. This is usually the information for the third graders, and that is when people usually learn only the words a mouse, a keyboard, and so on. It is very good to give them the verbs and the speaking. This is how the questions are made, and that is how they can ask each other about their computers and talk about the computer. Yeah? So, the third grade, they do this. Next, third or fourth. Yeah? Next year, they will be talking about, so they still are using this, and this is to describe a computer, but we already shift focus to users. Meaning that we can learn more so-called computer verbs. What the computer verbs are? Again, they are connected with computer nouns, obviously. Yeah? So, all these users, I define myself, and the definition of users is mainly based on what vocabulary we have. What is the vocabulary? The users are. The users are, I'll give mine later, yeah? The users are the worker. The worker obviously works with the computer. There were 30 copies, so there has to be more. And PowerPoint presentations. For this, the worker creates and deletes files, saves or undoes changes, highlights texts, and so on and so forth. This is what a worker does, or does so. So there will be a social networker. A social networker will work with social networks. For this, he or she will create an account, add or different people, upload and share pictures, comment on the news, and write posts. Again, the verbs may be used with different nouns, not with one noun only. The gamer will choose a character, set difficulty, develop tactics, save progress, and walk through the game. And a nerd, or so many kids tell me it's not a nerd, it's a, what is another word? It's a geek. But it's a geek, I know the word geek, but I consulted the dictionaries. They say that the nerd is a person who is a programmer, and a geek is more a person who is keen on computers. Yeah, so more a user. So I chosen a nerd here, but you can write geek just above. Yeah, so he writes or he deals with software and hardware, and obviously he's a wetware. Yeah. So he chooses a language, writes a code, tests, so finds and runs. And that will be the map that will go together with a speaking card. And a speaking card will show a kid how to talk about himself or herself as a computer user. The kid will say, I want to describe how I use my laptop by such categories as type, purpose, time, main activity, actions, emotions, and so on. I consider myself of course everyone considers himself or herself a worker. Yeah, I consider myself a worker because I need the computer to create documents. Yeah? I usually spend, of course, 1 hour at my computer. What do? I create documents such as Microsoft Word, for example. For this, I save, paste, undo, crop, add, and so on. Obviously, this is the time when we talk a lot about emotions, so they will say, I think it is exciting. Какое great? ING. It is exciting because I am excited. So no great. The word great is not here. Yeah? So I think it is boring because I am bored. I think it is so because I am so. And other activities, however, I may also, and here most people will
Play
say,
games.
yeah, play games or what? Use social nets.
Social networks.
For this,
Chat
I think
with
this
my
is,
friends.
and so many kids, this is stupid, of course. It is, I love that everyone wants to know about different types of people, but most kids position themselves as very mindful, very well educated. When we were talking about healthy lifestyle, there was not a kid who would say, I love eating chocolate or sweets. No, everyone is a mindful eater, of course. The same is here. It is really funny because you understand that especially boys spend lots of time at the computer, but I visited a couple of classes, I attended a couple of classes when they were talking about computer using. Most of them are, of course, mindful users who only create documents and crop and paste the text.
Waste their time.
Yeah, it is funny because reality is different, but still here you may even give them the roles. If you see that everyone is a worker, so then assume some roles to them and make somebody either a nerd or a gamer. Of course, there are no gamers, but make somebody a gamer. Yeah? So these are the topics that are good for the kids of the 4th, the 6th grade. Yeah? So, and to these words, we will later add some phrasal verbs, because there are lots of phrasal verbs in using computers. But for a certain period, we will be talking mostly about the device and the user. Yeah? So, and then a time will come, next slide please, when we'll talk about the whole topic, which is called, let's call it computers in modern age. Yeah? So, this topic is already for the older kids, usually the 9th grade and above, and it involves not only the types of users, and you see that those types of users, they're not that simple as a worker, a gamer, and a social networker. Those types of users will be defined by the digital divide. They will have the categories according to which we can compare them. Yeah? So, category number 1, were born before the digital age started, were born after the digital age, time of birth, when they were born. Category number 2, get information from traditional websites, multimedia oriented, how people get information. So the logical learners and intuitive learners, how you learn, task focusing at tasks, focusing at one task at a time, and multitasking or rapidly task switching. Talking in person, talking, you know, texting. I was explaining this to one of my teachers, and she said, you know, I was born in 1984, but I consider myself a digital immigrant, because all these characteristics are about me. But when I have to explain something to my husband, I have to text him, because that is how I structure my thinking. And if we are in a quarrel, I usually text him to explain what I want from him. It is funny because even so, you know, and it was just a couple of days ago, and I thought, wow, it's so funny that she perceives it as like she projects it on herself. Yeah, so she has to teach it. But of course, we are always structuring ourselves and categorizing ourselves. And she's quickly like this, wow, I am an immigrant, but sometimes I am a native. Yeah? So, and finally, how they, how social they are. What can we use this column for?
The green one.
No, this two columns.
Comparison.
We can compare them. When we talk about generation gap,
Yeah, generation.
so this is usually good to go back when we talk about generation gap. It's a perfect topic when we talk about how teenagers behave today and why they behave so today. So there are lots of usage for this part. This part is somewhat difficult. I wouldn't say that, so this, of course, we always talk about the impact of something on our daily life and daily living. And that is, there are positive and negative moments. Computers affect how we process information. So they store huge amounts of knowledge, but, so personal data may be accessed. So I wouldn't say that this is fun to teach, but this is a higher level of thinking already.
And for exams, it's fine.
Yeah, so especially when you teach for exams, and any topic should contain for and against, pluses and minuses, advantages and disadvantages. So I define not many of them. And very often I try to somehow connect them to the previous categories. Of course, there are many more categories to think about pluses and minuses of computers. Like having problems with eyes, I would tell much more, yeah? But no one needs to discuss health problems here, at least some of them, and at least the categories. Yeah? So, and that will take, like this topic will usually be a part of another cycle when we talk about different topics from the point of view of divides, advantages and disadvantages, spheres of usage, timeline. So if you compare this map to these two maps, you will understand that this is just the different levels of learning. This is the level when they learn the nouns, the verbs, and when they can know more about the tools. And this is the abstract level when they have the whole picture of a topic. But again, very often you can catch your student on not knowing what is the English for relative study. So this easy things, so this easy topics can be usually accessed, and we can go back to them even at this stage. If we need. Okay, so next. Questions here? No questions. Now inventions. Inventions. I told that we would be talking about inventions. I was afraid to start talking about them at once. Elena Gennadievna understands that this is not
Not that simple.
not that simple. Not that simple. Yeah. So, and we'll have two types of speaking here. So, usually we speak about inventions, not from the very beginning. Yeah? To talk about any invention, you probably have to have a kind of a background. So, firstly, look at your maps. Look at the maps that you have in your hands. They do have a timeline. And I did take this timeline from